right?
Everybody, just one more time. We are Picasso in the gallery. Yo, super shout out to Grove Studios for having us out here and putting this thing together. And sometimes, you know, we go through a whole lot of shit, but when we up here, we forget about all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We got a whole lot going on, and we just came to let go today.
Yeah.
Turn up.
Lord, let the light shine on me. You ain't gonna waste time on me. Cause every lesson, investing, and best believe in that person, and you can even put a blame on me. I can tell you ain't stressed no more. I can tell I got my foot up in the door. Cause I've been knocking the wild and started digging around and got out and started kicking it down. These niggas thinking I'm a new cat. But let me talk to my nigga, that's a new life. I'm running new cat. When I bring to my way, pay attention to the news cat. That way I get it, it's the E-class. The difference is the only cloud I control now. The guy, the way I'm saying I'm God, not gonna everybody be a guy when they turn up my style. Anytime I get on this, I'm looking at the hot style. Tell me, Lewis, are you okay? Tell me, Lewis, are you okay? To give my never coach genius with it. Pretty better punchlines with the cleanest finish. Cause I'm here to claim I know options. Like, bro, being put up for adoption. Swear to God, did they ever try to touch mine? I'ma do the whole time. They bought the first 48, trying to figure out another talk crime.
Now listen up.
I told y'all I wasn't taking the air, but now I'm hearing about within this squad of thugs. So let me tell you firsthand, I ain't never shaking the hand with the niggas that's doing shit for us, late. Don't forget it. And then the squad here better than mine, and it's only getting better with time.
Oh my God.
There's the beginning of time, and then the guy here better than mine.
Hey.
Rock. 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 Rock, rock, rock.
Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Hey.
Now it's down, but pick me back up. Try to defeat me, it wasn't enough. The battle is over, you ran out of love. You lose.
Hey.
Yeah, we win. Yeah.
Shit, Lou.
You know we gon' get it right, yeah. You know we gon' get it right. You know we gon' get it right. You know we gon' get it right. Alright, every day I'm getting up on the go. When you always got it, rubber on the go. Got 'em tripping on the go. Love it when they sleeping on the go.
Put your fingers up, point it to the bones.
When it's all dance, take your hands on the bow. When it's goes, take your bows on the boat. With your hands at the band, no more. In the road, on the key, to the concrete flow. Tripping up, put the vibes, let's roll.
Hey.
Say it, yeah.
One more time. Yeah, we win.
Solid like a dollar.
Gold.
Oh, we still rocking? Cool, that's cool. Cool.
I always told you to tell the truth. What I didn't know, that the truth would hurt. Well, here's my truth behind the painting. Bless. Every time I ask, she says, bless.
rocking. Fuck with your boy entertainment. Please no. Yeah, so this is the type of foolery that happens on the stage on here, man. It's like low key. I forget sometimes y'all are even out there. To be honest. You good? Spin. Spin. Yeah. Cool beans? Hey Taylor, hey Taylor, hey Taylor, hey Taylor, hey Taylor. Can I get some more music in these speakers? Can I get some more music in these speakers? That nigga who be on your phone, tell him get a life. That nigga who be on your head, tell him get a life. Baby, this that new beat. My life is too Gucci. Sorry, but your problems are no longer in my life. That nigga who be on your phone, tell him get a life. That nigga who be on your head, tell him get a life. Baby, this that new beat. My life is too Gucci. Sorry, but your problems are no longer in my life. Second time, third time, come around. Shit, I just pushed you out my life. Now that I'm a new time around. It's you all my life. Now that I'm a new nigga, that nigga, bigger picture. Now you wanna try to make it right. Second time, third time, come around. I said I just pushed you out my life. Baby, this that new me. My life is too blue. Sorry, but your problems are no longer in my life. That nigga who be on your phone, tell him get a life. That nigga who be on your head, tell him get a life. That nigga who my life is too blue. Sorry, but your problems are no longer in my life. That nigga who be on your phone,
Tell him get alive.
that nigga who be on your head.
Tell him get alive.
My nigga, my nigga, my nigga, my nigga, my nigga. Get a motherfucking life. My nigga. Bet the cheese. That was fun. So this is the last song of the night. But I promise we gonna have a hella fun. Fuck with me, Jackson. Woo! I drove 50,000 miles for your love. And thought I have a ball. Instead I came back with a pocket full of drugs. And still had a ball, man. Love is a bitch. Love is a bitch. Love is a bitch. Love is
Well, what's up, everybody? You just witnessed Louis Picasso and the gallery performing over at Grove Studios in the courtyard for our live sessions series for Grove Sessions, and we're bringing it back to you live today on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Welcome to Grove Sessions, man. That performance was every time I see these guys perform, it's unbelievable. Really just some of the best that Michigan has to offer, and soon to be the world as people learn about you guys more and more. Just really love what you guys do. Performance was amazing. For those of you that are just joining us, Louis Picasso and the Gallery is an alternative rap band led by artist and Ypsilanti native Louis Picasso. Um, Comprised of 6 members. Not everybody's here today, but that's all right. We'll get through. But primary material includes songs from Picasso's latest projects. Gold, represented with the T-shirt today, fellas. You know, check it out.
Good go.
Behind the paintings and behind the paintings too. You know, we're going to get into some talk about the musical influences. They know Biggie Smalls, Travis Scott, and Linkin Park. We'll definitely talk about that. But what's really clear is your undeniable energy. You know, your ability to connect with the audience. Anybody that was at the last show, I had several conversations with people that were like, they were from out of town, and they were like, dude, these guys are amazing. So I was like, yeah, I know. I've seen them before. Can't wait to see them again every time. So you guys have done a lot of stuff. You've you've headlined some pretty large venues, St. Andrews Hall in Detroit, the Bazaar in Brooklyn. You guys did a 3-part concert series called Red Aurora, which was sold right out, right? Red Aura.
Yeah.
Super cool. But let's do this since there's so many of us. I think this is officially the most people we've had on a Grove Sessions so far.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Party!
It's a Zoom party.
It's a party.
I'm here with Max Price as always. He's social media marketing director and also hip hop artist and music business consultant. Joining me in the background, and then let's just go around and introduce everybody. Louis, why don't you just give a quick shout, and then we'll move down the line like DJ Fame and on.
No doubt. I am Louis Picasso of Louis Picasso and the Gallery, the lead artist.
Next,
I'm DJ Fame. I'm just kind of, I'm everywhere in the band, do a whole lot of stuff. So yeah, backtracks, toning, all that stuff.
All right. My name is Steven. I'm the drummer of the band, representing Detroit. 313,
Shout out.
All right. I'm Antonio. I'm the keyboardist. That's pretty much it.
And man with many smiles.
Yeah.
The man with many smiles.
many smiles. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Let's just go right into it. I just got some questions, and we'll go down other paths. But I'm actually really curious where the name came from. Where did the gallery come from as it relates to Louis Picasso?
Okay, well, how I see it is, okay, so the band to me, like they're like my surrounding. When I perform, I feel like the band is my surrounding. Okay, so normally when I perform, I black out, and it's like as if it's just me and the band. That's why if you was the peep in that performance, I said, yo, sometimes I forget y'all are even out there. You feel me? That's for real. So I just kind of just took the name like Picasso, and Picasso being the artist, the gallery being his surrounding. You know what I'm saying? That was his environment. And so the band is like, that's my environment. When I get on that stage, it's me and my surrounding.
Yeah.
That's cool. And I definitely feel like, you guys just gel really well. As a band all together, it just sounds really tight. And shout out, speaking of sound, to Taylor Greenshields for the sound on that
Definitely.
He did
performance.
his
Shout out.
thing,
Yeah,
yo.
that
It
shit
sounded
is
really
beautiful.
nice in these headphones. Taylor Green
Yeah.
Shields of Fundamental Sound Company. You guys all obviously know him, and you know he's one of the best around. And shout out to Tim Blackman too for the video work.
Two
Show
show
Timmy!
Yeah.
Timmy.
Two show
Two
Timmy.
show Timmy. Big shout
That's
out.
right, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, it's like weird how we all kind of came together because it's all very just like random. Like Lou, I met Lou because we had the same manager at one point, and Lou was putting on a show, and they were like, "Yo, we need a DJ for the show, so come do it." I was like, "Okay," and that was the first time I had ever like DJ'd for an artist that had like lyrics and stuff, because I used to DJ for Aeon Tail, but they just danced, you know, so it was different, and learning how to vibe with an artist was like super crazy for me. Like I remember
How
just
long
every
ago?
time we did like 4 years.
Is that 4 years ago?
Yeah, like 4 years ago.
It was
Isn't
the
that
what?
before you
The
guys did
second
It was Red
Aura?
Aura 2.
Yeah, second Red Aura.
So when did you
Yeah.
guys decide to do like the live band aspect of it? You know, because a lot of people in hip hop just decide to just rap over the tracks, you know. So what really drew you to the live band part of the equation?
Honestly, it was the Linkin Park and Jay-Z album.
Dude, that shit was so
Revolutionary.
That was so dope.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was the Linkin Park and Jay-Z album. And so the very first show that I threw, which was I think 2014 or 2013, I believe. It was at this gallery, low key. My first show was actually at our gallery.
Dude, that's perfect, dude.
Crazy, right? And it wasn't a Red Aura. It was I think it was called. It was the Peace and Herb release party, and it sold out within this first week. And I performed with a live band instead of just doing it with the DJ, because Jay-Z being one of my top influences, also that Linkin Park and Jay-Z album being so goddamn dope. Why not? You know. So ever since then, I always perform with a band.
Yeah, I love it, man. And honestly, like my first connection when I first was introduced to you guys, you know, my connection came out was the Roots, right? Like that was always to me a band that just the live aspect, you know what I mean? The live instrumentation,
the energy,
the hip hop.
Yeah.
I mean, just there's something about it that I love, and just being a guitar player, like gravitate to that too. So I love the format. It sounds so tight. Seriously. So you guys met, you guys started working together. I mean, how did everybody else come into the picture? I mean, when you decided to do it, like what were the connections?
Man, what a timeline.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
You didn't say
you
didn't say we couldn't talk about it though.
No, it's all good.
I remember.
It just like
at
it.
this,
Yeah, like Steve came before me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Steve is like the original.
just about the original, because I remember meeting Lou at this. It was called the Past the Vibes event with one of our friends. Shout out to Tatiana. You know, she had she made the event, and so he did his performance, and it was real dope and everything. And then like I forgot who was performing, but I ended up getting on the drums for dude. And then that's when he came up to me and it was like, "Yo, man, you know, I'm putting this band together. I want you to be my drummer." I was like, "Sure, all right then, and I'll do it." And then ever since then, you know, I've just been this drummer. I think that's been like a good 4 or 5 years now, right, Lou?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because like at
So,
first I had just did the one Red Aura event. I wasn't really a part of the band. And I was just like DJing like his album release parties, like other smaller events. And then eventually he was like, "Bro, like we're vibing, like we should put something together.
That's
Like,
right.
we should get to it." Yeah. So yep. And then Tone, I can't even remember when Tone came in.
Yeah, Tone went. Yeah.
Yeah. So we met at I don't know if you remember, it was Specs. He had the art gallery show.
Yeah, he did. Okay.
He had the art
I
gallery
remember
show.
that.
Brooke DJ'd that.
Yeah. And we were talking. I was talking about some beats I had, and you was like, "Get at me." So we started talking, and I was like, "I can do an article on you."
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that now.
We did the article, and then we started connecting on music, and I was like, yeah, I can play piano. And he was like, oh, I got this band I'm putting together. Can you like do a beat or whatever? And we threw together like a quick beat.
Yeah.
And from there, I showed up to the first couple rehearsals, and
Yeah.
bam, it was like that.
Yeah.
What's crazy is I didn't even know Tone played the piano because I met him at Eastern. I met you at
the
Eastern,
E-Zone.
at the E Zone.
Mm.
And so like we was cool ever since then. And then when I heard that he was coming to the band, he played piano. I'm like, oh, what up, though?
I love the backstory to every band or group, and I always think haven't been a musician for a long time, haven't been in many different bands right over the course of the last 25 years, right? I'm a bit older, and I always, one of my things has always been, man, I would love to be with a group of musicians that I get old with, right? Like where we can continue to produce art together. Cause honestly, like, yeah, everybody's going to get older, but you're going to still be able to make more and more incredible art. You're going to get better at your craft.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard to work with a group of people, right? What day do we rehearse? What
Yeah.
days do we
Oh,
do?
God.
Can you do this gig? Shit, I'm going to be out of town. There's all those,
Yeah.
right? There's those complications.
All the time.
How do you guys navigate that? I mean, and what is your rehearsals? What are your rehearsals? Because you guys are tight live, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very random, there are like times where like I work every day of the week, Lou works every day of the week. Everybody in our group works almost every day. And we all work different times. Like I work at a bar, so I work all night. And like Lou works at a dispensary still, right?
No, sir.
No. Well, when he did, he was working all day, like 8 to 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like we never had an open time that would lap ever. And a lot of the times, like when Christy was with us, she lived all the way out in Detroit. So it was kind of hard to get her out to rehearsal sometimes. And like Tim, he lived all the way out in Detroit, so like we all live in different places. Tone lives in Detroit. He makes do, but sometimes he's like, hey, like that's far and traffic is crazy right now. There's no way. It just happens. And we've learned over the years to kind of rehearse without a part of the band. It gets kind of weird sometimes. But I think that we've kind of adapted to just really be able to focus on our parts. And as we know, like, as long as our parts are done and that person does their own practice on their own time, like it'll come out okay.
Because our chemistry is so tight. That's the thing about the band. Like our chemistry is so good. Like we can go like so much amount of time without rehearsing, but then come back and sound like we rehearsed the day before. That's what I love about. Yeah, exactly. That's what I love about this band. Like our chemistry is like tight.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like even when we're rehearsing, something new will happen, like an accident, but it sounded really good, and we'll roll with it. And everybody just gives that kind of look at each other like, oh shit, we just did that. Like, it's weird how it kind of clicks, but nobody really says anything. I mean, the communication is there naturally.
That's what I'm about to say. Like a lot of times we communicate non-verbally, where sometimes I know what Steve is going to do before he does it, and I just follow along, and it's just like, oh, did that happen? How did that happen?
Right.
And we can't really explain it, but it gels that way. I really can't explain it.
Thanks. I love it.
I think that's really important in a band to be able to have that kind of rapport with your bandmates when you're in front of people doing shit live, and also just the energy. Like what was it like for you, Lou, like when you got that band behind you? Because I know like I've performed without a band and with a band, and just that energy with that band is just so much, you feel it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So again, like when I perform, I normally black out into this, to this realm of nothing, and the music kind of just do what it does. I feel like when I'm just with a DJ, I'm like halfway in but halfway out. You know what I'm saying? But with the band, with all the instrumentation and like our chemistry just binding all together, it's like I can freely just, do my thing, and the band just enhances it. So I'm feeling ecstatic. I'm feeling chill. I'm feeling all these types of emotions. And as soon as the music ends, it's like I snap out of it. I'm like, oh, so y'all was rocking? Because I don't know what just happened. You feel me? But if y'all rocking with it, then bet, cool. Let's go to the next one.
And that's how it has to be too. A lot of the time, like, you know, especially like as a vocalist, you don't want to be like tripping up and thinking about your shit too much. You kind of got to get yourself into that like meditative kind of zone
Yeah.
up there, you know. Is there
Yeah.
anything that you do? Like, do you get like pre-show jitters? Like, is there anything that you do to kind of help you get into that zone or like?
Oh, definitely. I'm smoking.
Look at that green.
Yeah, the good green.
Easily, I'm smoking. But no, like that's just like I believe if you don't have the jitters before you go on the show, then you're not ready. Honestly, I feel like even the best, the greatest of all time artists, I believe, had some type of jitters, you know, before getting on stage. But as soon as they got on stage and that song dropped, it was like, you know, proof.
Yeah, and you can ask like everybody in the band. I'm like the most stressed before, making sure everything's prepared.
Okay.
If it ain't you, it's me.
Like I hate it, but like I always get that way. You know, I'm like, okay, do we have this? Do we have this? Like, is this good? Like, are the files good? Like, da da da. And it's just all the whole time, and everybody's like, bro, just shut the fuck up. Like, like you know, you know. And I'm like, I can't help it, but I'm nervous as shit for anything to go wrong because you know I hit one wrong button up there and it gets real quiet, real fast. Yeah. So
has there ever been
super
like
nervous?
Fucking, what's the worst like story you guys have on stage? Like nightmare story. You guys have anything gone wrong?
I mean, the worst thing I've done was there was a song I wasn't supposed to play the backtrack for, but I was supposed to have it ready, and I played it like just out of instinct, you know. And I hit play, and I remember Lou turned around and looked at me like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But he was like, "I have to go with it now. Like, I can't."
It's too late now.
Yeah, and I was like, "My bad. I totally forgot I was not supposed to play that."
I mean, I don't think we ever had like some like terrible like horror stories. You
I
feel
don't
me?
either. Yeah,
no
But
horror.
we've had like some funny shit. Like I won't.
like I fell off the stage in Toronto.
Oh, tell that story.
Fell off the stage. I mean, like whole ass missed a step.
Tell
Like,
that story.
missed a whole
A
step.
couple people have fell off stage, but
Christy fell off the stage
Christy
in New
fell
York.
off like 5 times in a row.
Yeah, because there was a space between the back of the stage and a wall, and she was sitting on the drummer's seat, like while we were setting up, and she stood up and turned around and took a step and went right off the back of the stage.
Look, it was like 3 consecutive performances where she just fell off the stage before, like during sound check.
During sound check, yeah.
Yeah.
Cleveland?
Christy, if you're watching, we love you.
It happened in Cleveland.
we love you to
Yeah.
death.
Yeah, we love you to death. It happened in Brooklyn too.
Yeah, shout out to Christy, Christiana.
Christiana.
Her solo name goes.
Yeah, Christiana.
Yeah, she's amazing. You guys didn't you have 2 vocalists at one point too when you guys were doing some of those tours?
Yeah, we've like Christiana was like our main like backup lead singer, you know what I'm saying? Like whenever it came to like an additional, we've had like a couple like come in and out.
Yeah. So you guys got to stop falling out. No more falling off stages. That shit's dangerous.
Yeah, no, like
I mean, bro,
I mean, I had
sometimes
a coffin case and everything in my
I
head.
feel like if you ain't fell off a stage before, you ain't rocking, you know?
Yeah. It's bound to happen eventually.
I feel like
Red Aura 2,
off top.
like the stage snapped. Lou and Asaka were jumping so hard that the stage
Oh.
snapped in half with them standing on it. Yeah, insane. I was like, bro, this is not.
Where was that?
At Project 23. Yeah. Super throwback.
Mhm.
Yeah, that venue's not even around anymore.
Shout out to B.
Yeah,
Shout out to B.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, I've seen you guys a bunch of times, and you guys always seem really well prepared. So all the pre-show anxiety is working.
Yeah, definitely superstitions.
Hopefully it just yeah. You got to do some kind of like ritual before, so nobody
every time
breaks
it's a
breaks
circle.
something for sure. I think everybody, like, I think for people that are watching it maybe haven't performed yet or want to perform or whatever, it's always helpful to hear some of the, like, what do you do pre-show to like really get prepared and get yourself in the mindset.
Yes.
But I love what you say about the whole like blackout, and like it's interesting because I've been I don't know, ridiculed is the right word, but like people have pointed out, like, dude, I was at the show, I was standing right in front of you. I'm like, I didn't see you there. So not seeing the audience is weird, but you do still connect with the audience in a way. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe because most of the time I'm playing guitar, but you're doing vocals. But I feel like you all have this presence that does connect with the audience. Even though, I mean, does anybody else in the band kind of experience that blackout effect that Lou describes?
I definitely do, just because I'm so focused on Lou, because he gives me so many cues and things like that. So I'm super focused on the music and like the files and the levels and things like that. I completely try to wash out everything that's not within 5 feet in front of me, just because I don't want to mess up, but I also am just so focused and so just, in the groove of the performance and the energy and stuff. It's just, you can't fight it. If you try to fight it, that's when you start to fuck up. You don't want to do that. So
Yeah.
I stick with the program, and you just totally don't see things like, my mom and my sister and my girlfriend at the time had came to Cleveland, and you can hear them screaming in the whole video, like my name. And I did not hear it until I watched the video. And they're like, we were telling you, look at us the whole time. We wanted pictures. And I'm like, I did not hear you. I'm sorry. Like, I can't. But you can hear him in the video very loud, just screaming. And I'm like, dude, there's no way I can hear you.
That's amazing.
You ignored your mama?
Yeah, I definitely ignored her, bro. I was like, I'm sorry. I cannot hear you. And I'm wearing headphones a lot of the time too. So
that's true.
I mean, the live thing is like that too, and there's so many things going on. I mean, especially depending on what you're playing, there's all kinds of stuff happening in the audience. It's weird right now. The show that we just did, there really wasn't a lot of an audience because we're social distancing and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys still brought that energy. I feel like every time I see you guys, you're playing like you're playing to 10,000 people, and that's
the goal.
That's the goal, right? That's
you
guys bring it. And it sounds great. Um, like outside of the live performances, and this is probably a little bit more pointed towards Lou, but but you guys can all talk about this, right? Like key messages or sort of vibes that you want to spread with your music. Like what's important. I mean, you guys cover a lot of ground lyrically, but are there some things that are important to you, Lou, as an as the primary vocal artist, lyric artist, and does the band add to that? Do you guys bounce ideas? I'm trying to get a sense of your, kind of your writing process and what comes through. Like, what are your big things that you want to get out and like get out to the world?
No, so when it comes when it comes to being lyrical, I try to relate when it comes to my own life experiences, especially when it comes to like relationships. I speak real big on like relationships and shit like that. So normally what I do is I will work with one of my producers. I normally work with the same 3 to 4 producers: AP, Brooklyn Beats, Joey Sativa, or Plaga, like one of those 4. And we'll make the song and whatnot, and then I will take it to the band, and we kind of create our own vibe, our own feel, and then we perform that instead of just performing the actual track. Like this, when you listen to the live version, it's a whole different feel. When you listen to the actual track, it sounds like 2 different songs, same lyrics, but 2 totally different songs. That's why when I perform, when you see us perform, I'd rather you get an experience. That's why I really don't like when people have their phones up, like wanting to record. Like I get it, you want to capture this moment, but I more so want you to experience this moment. Feel this vibe that we giving up, feel this aura that we giving up.
Present with you, like while you're being present on stage.
Honestly,
100%.
honestly, yeah. Cause I'm like I said, like we all used to like blacking out and just letting the music control our body and our hands and our voices. So we want the crowd to have that same interaction when we're on that stage. That's why at the end of that performance, when Steve was doing his thing, I'm kind of just standing there, just letting the music just do my thing, or do its thing. I don't remember doing none of that.
Yeah, that's I totally get it. I think like unless you've experienced that, and I think every artist has their kind of own version of that or what however that feels, but it seems pretty common to me. I know I've experienced it for sure. Um, what's we kind of came back. I forgot to ask this earlier because you guys were talking about some of the places you played and some of the mishaps and some of the a lot of good stuff. I mean, you guys have had some great shows. What's your favorite place that you performed at so far? And that's not a trick question, by the way. You don't have to say Grove Studios, but
Hey, I do love performing at Grove.
Wait,
Yeah,
performing at Grove Studios. Hold on, let me do a little plug in. If y'all got no rehearsal spot, know what I mean, y'all definitely need to go ahead and get in Grove Studios.
Big
You know what I mean?
facts.
They got everything you need. The sound there is perfecto.
The
You
DJ.
feel me? In the DJ room, they got the
Crazy.
podcast room. They got the studio room. They got the rehearsal room. They got the courtyard where you can have your own little outside show. You feel
Whatever
me?
you need, they got it.
Whatever you need, they got it.
I appreciate the plug, guys. Yeah, thank you.
It's hard for me to not say the House of Blues in Cleveland just because it's the House
The
of
House
Blues.
of Blues.
Awesome, bro.
yeah.
Like, that was a great spot to perform at.
That was amazing.
I love it,
But
man.
I love Toronto, the Fountain Blue. That was crazy.
Oh my
It was
God.
beautiful.
Fountain Blue
Oh
in
my
Toronto was
God.
crazy.
Okay,
I love
y'all sleeping on St.
Andrews.
Oh,
Yeah,
whoa,
St.
we
Andrews.
not sleeping. We just have, hey, we got to say the best for last. So I'm just
Sleep.
saying, like, St. Andrews is actually like, it's top 2 and not number 2 when it comes to that performance. Like,
Yeah.
that's the.
I would say
I
St.
feel like
Andrews,
just because we're
man.
home, like St.
House of
Andrews,
Blues.
like the energy that we bring is a little amped up. And it's not to get down on like anywhere else we perform, but it's just like, like we're
Oh,
like
yeah.
home, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
the crib.
it's crazy. Like just the turnout and the energy that we get from the crowd there is comparably different. Obviously like when we went to Toronto, only people who worked there knew who we were, but by the end of the show, by the end of our set, like everybody's at the front of the stage, so
Heck yeah.
but like at St. Andrews,
Every
it just
time.
starts out, everybody's just packed at the stage,
True.
which I really like. So
That's a great venue. That's one of my favorites for sure. I mean,
yeah,
if you're playing in Detroit, it's the place you want to play. I think
Yeah.
personally, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's some other good venues, right? No
Shout
doubt.
out to Osaka
Right.
for that too. Osaka's got his hip to he got his
Oh, yeah.
St. Andrews. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Osaka.
Shout out to Osaka for sure.
I don't know about y'all, but I gotta go with Grove because of you feel like you're surrounded by family when you're performing.
That's cool.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I appreciate that.
Talents performing
That's
with you.
big fact.
You're like, oh, they good, and you feel like it feels like an all-star performance.
Yeah.
Like an all-star
Facts.
game.
My more intimate though performance I feel like was great though was at the library.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
when we did the
library.
that was cool.
Yeah, it was so
That was really
because
cool.
all you just seen like families going across. We're like, hey, y'all want to come in?
It was so
Like,
funny
enjoy our
trying
music
to
that we got.
censor ourselves.
Yeah, I'm about to say we in the library, bro. Like
Feels
trying
so
like
weird
not to
performing
cuss, but they was like, no,
with
go
an
ahead, cuss. But we like, bro, I said the
Kids.
F word like 100 times. Like kids,
Yeah.
fam, kids.
There was like a kids computer workshop thing like going on in the next room to us.
Yeah, it feels a little weird, like dropping F-bombs and saying stuff, like
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool that they're supportive of like the local culture though and the local music, and
Oh,
they're
Yeah,
yeah.
that is great. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
That's
dope.
awesome.
It's funny. That was one of our like first paid shows. And I remember
Oh.
we were freaking
Facts.
out. We were freaking out about the check we got after. We were like, "Oh my god! Like we just did our first paid show!" Like, it was so
That
funny
was
because
yeah,
because I remember it's like we at this point we hadn't done most of the stuff, but we had already done the House of Blues, and I was like, we did the House of Blues, and our first paid show is at the library. That's how it goes.
Like,
Which-
that's
which-
great.
How it
which-
goes.
which blows my mind, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. You get that like getting paid for the work that you do, and so many people, if you're not a musician, you don't necessarily, or you're not involved with music, or you know what I mean. You're I don't want to say just a fan, because fans are the most important thing, right?
Right.
But when you don't see all of the like behind the scenes that actually goes into when you actually get on the stage, I think a lot of people just don't realize how much work it actually is. Like
Yeah.
top to bottom, from investment in equipment and the time that it takes to produce the level of quality that you guys bring to those stages. To hear you say that you didn't get paid for a gig at the House of Blues, my head, like, I'm like turning red right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the local library paid you, right? So,
Yeah.
but good for them, because they're being supportive of local music, and that's
Yeah.
really important, and that's why we're trying to do this whole series, and we're trying to do all the things we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're going to get to the point where, the artists are getting paid too, working on sponsorships, working on partnerships with local businesses, regional businesses and stuff, to get the artists paid too. That's one of our big missions at Grove, is to figure out how can we make that sustainable and make sure artists are getting paid, because it takes a lot of money to produce music. It just does.
Hell yeah.
But it's so interesting to hear you say that the library gig, and libraries, what
They got
library?
first and biggest check.
Yeah.
First and biggest.
That's awesome.
Honestly.
Well, you guys definitely deserved it. And
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
You guys
Yeah.
talk about like going to all these, out of town gigs, and I think that's one thing that a lot of local artists like just have a hard time getting out of town. You know what I'm saying? Or they don't value, or they don't understand the strategy, and they just stay around here. So what would some tips that you guys would have as far as for other artists, about going out of town, or like what has going out of town brought you guys? How is it different than just doing shows around here, and what has helped you secure like some of those gigs and stuff?
I know that, like, if somebody has a car and you got to load up in that boy with 5 people, then you got to do
that
it.
bitch up, bro.
Yeah. I mean, like, when we went to New York, there were 5 people in my car, and I drove the whole 12 hours straight there and back. Like, it can be hard. It seems like it's out of reach, but
it could be done.
Yeah, like our invites came from shows that we had done. Like, it was weird. We do a show, and then as we're walking off stage, we're about to pack up and go home. Somebody walks up to us like, hey, we got a show in New Orleans in 2 months. Can you be there? And we just figured it out, like whether we had to work more or, we even did a couple GoFundMes and some fundraisers and stuff, like just to do what we had to do.
The Australia show, man.
Yeah, the Australia show. Like, it ended up being just way too expensive, but like it was going to be like 10 grand to get the whole band there and back, type stuff. But I think that we managed it really well with just like doing what we had to do to get everybody there. Like New Orleans was one of our first and our farthest out of town shows so far. And like we all flew there, and we were all like showing up on different days and different flights and like just whatever we could afford to get. And it took us a while to save up for that, so but it can be done. That's the most important thing, is that some of us weren't even, like, I wasn't even working at the time, and like I had to figure it out, so it can be done, and it's worth it. You feel like, oh, I spent $800 to come to the show to make a quarter of that back, or whatever it is, but the experience is insane. Like we performed live in New Orleans, like that's crazy. Somebody from Ipsy, they don't get to say that a lot. So we were just super grateful that we were able to put it together.
Yeah. And I mean, what I take from that too is like, since you guys, I've had a lot of shows just come from other shows, that shows that you guys have a great live performance, and I think, and that's obviously one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. But something I've noticed from going out of town is out of town crowds also can show you like major love too.
Crazy love.
They're like,
you're
a national artist to them. So they're just like, holy,
you feel like you're at home almost.
I think Toronto showed the most. I was about to say Toronto showed the most.
We couldn't even, it took us like 45 minutes to get from the stage to the door.
Yeah.
Like, so many people kept stopping us. Yeah. It was wild. And I remember the first time, like when we finally got outside, we all looked at each other like, oh my God, like these people really like us and they're in a whole nother country.
Man, that was beautiful.
Man.
Yeah.
It
Toronto
was
was beautiful, man. They
Yeah.
showed hella
I
love.
wish we could have been there longer, man. But like,
yeah,
yeah,
that was a
Toronto's
quick
the
in
best,
and that was a
for sure.
quick in and out show for sure.
Facts.
Yeah.
I mean, just for the fact that you got. Oh, sorry, go.
Oh no, I said when we performed and then after, like the morning after, it was like your grandma who showed us crazy love at a random like breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mad love,
Coney Island,
man.
some random old lady walked up to us and was like, "Oh my God, like your guys' show was amazing." We're like, "What the fuck?" Like,
Who was
what?
there?
yeah,
I appreciate you.
yeah,
So important for artists to build a fan base that's outside of their hometown. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because all of your
Mhm.
homies, all of your friends, like you're just like one of their friends. Like, yeah, your music is great or whatever, but like someone out of town like that sees you, you're a nationally touring artist. That's a real fan right there. You know?
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
agree.
That's what blew our
Artists
minds.
have that
Yeah.
strategy, you know, like and are getting out there.
I remember the first time somebody came up to us with a T-shirt and wanted us all to sign his T-shirt. That blew my mind.
Yeah, that was that
I was
St.
like,
Andrews.
what?
Yeah.
Like somebody wants us to sign their T-shirt? Like that's crazy. And I saw his post. Like he was like, "Yo, like Louis Picasso in the gallery, like sign my T-shirt." I was like, oh, this is crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love
Definitely
that.
hard to get to the point where you're signing autographs in your hometown. but
Yeah.
out of town-
Like it was wild. I was
Love
like,
it, man. Hell yeah.
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 I mean, you know, and like just you guys going out and doing those kind of like one-off kind of shows that are traveling shows,
Mhm.
right? That's really, I mean, at the end of the day, that's preparing you for the realities of touring once touring becomes a reality again. You know, obviously, like touring is a little difficult right now.
Dog, I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Corona needs to go.
I
Yeah.
hate it.
yeah,
Corona
needs to go for sure. But I wonder, you know, how are you guys kind of talking about that as a band? And you know, I mean, obviously, right now is a good time to write and record and even rehearse. But what are you guys kind of talking about? I mean, could we be looking forward to a tour? I know it's hard to plan. We don't know when we can do it again.
Man,
but-
honestly, it is so hard to like plan the tour right now because you could put you can book a date and everything, but we don't know how long this is gonna last. So we can put all this time and money into promoting and to on this date, but if shit still shut down, and you know what I'm saying. So it's really hard to to show.
You know what I'm thinking about?
What you thinking about, bro?
I'm thinking about a southern tour of drive-in concerts in the winter in the winter time. Yeah, where people pull their cars into parking lots. And
So
you're
we need a
still up on
semi truck
stage.
then. We need like a semi truck that we could just
need
fold
a
out into
semi.
a stage.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
sweet.
That would be dope. I
Yeah.
think.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Don't you think that people
Okay.
need to get creative in that way? I mean,
No
you can still
doubt.
do it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
keep people safe and keep people spread out and
You
still
want to
be
do
able
it?
to
We
enjoy
can
the
do
thing.
it.
I'll do
You
it.
want to do it? Like
There we
Rick,
go.
I mean, Rick, you know how we get down. Like you can
We'll do it.
Yeah, you can bring these ideas up, but we're gonna be like, okay, bet.
You're
So
gonna
you
be
want to
like,
talk
yeah.
about this like after the interview or
Yeah.
no? I
Do
mean,
do we know somebody with a semi truck? Do we know anybody on the team? No.
bro,
We
I'm pretty
can
sure.
try
I'm
to
pretty
get to
sure
know
we can
somebody,
get a
you know.
semi truck.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Get to
I
know
imagine
somebody
it's like
for sure.
like a transformer truck that like folds out into a sweet stage.
Bro, man,
We gotta
technology.
get a
They have
Transformers
those.
sticker on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Find out the Miss
But-
Prime right quick.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that we were planning a tour when this whole thing hit.
yeah.
And then after a while, we kind of all like we were like hoping, when everybody was kind of at that stage, like even Lollapalooza was still on. Nobody had canceled anything yet. And then it kind of rolled out the shutdowns, and we were looking at the numbers. We just kind of all got together as a band. We're like, yeah, we should probably push this off.
Yeah.
Before we dump the time and the money into it.
Yeah, like
Let's just-
Red Ore was being planned, and
yeah.
there was a lot of
we had a couple shows booked in like OKC and stuff like that, and we were supposed to go, and it just didn't happen because this whole COVID thing. So
Yeah.
Shout out to
No, that's the case for all of us. I really do think Taylor Greenshields is just piping, and he says he knows a dude with a solar powered stage on a truck. That's
Taylor,
true.
There it
Taylor,
is.
hey,
There it is.
There you go.
chime in after this, bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rick, you done started some shit now.
I'm always
Right.
starting shit, man. No, that's everybody's everybody's struggling with this, but I'm starting to see people get innovative and doing stuff like that. And so when you guys decided, like, clearly we can't tour, are you guys working on any new material right now? Can you share that?
That's up to the head honcho.
Definitely.
That's up to him.
Oh man, y'all fooling. But yeah, definitely working on some new music. I just released a new song called Drunk a few weeks ago featuring Michaela.
Heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
Excellent, man.
Thank you. I'm gearing up to drop another song. I'm just trying to figure out, like how I want to drop it. You feel me? It's just everything is weird now, Yeah. I'm used to the face-to-face, promo, networking and all of that. Like,
right.
I don't like to rely on the internet. The internet is so crowded because everybody's scared to go face-to-face and to actually talk to people, to actual network, like instead of trying to email the promoter, I'd rather go set up an appointment so we can go meet up and actually talk some business, so I can show you that I can actually rock this stage instead of me paying you, $5,000 to perform. You know how I feel about that. So can't do that.
Won't do it. Won't do it. We'll book a whole show with you, and as soon as you hit us with the pay to play, we're out.
Nope.
Can't do it. Can't do it, bro.
Yeah. That model exists out there. But I mean, watching your show, just that we just saw, I feel like the sound was tight, thanks to Taylor and Tim doing the video. Like it can translate right now. I think live streaming can be a thing. We all obviously want to get back live, and I think I think there's some safer ways to do it, for sure. And we're doing those things, but yeah, it's weird right now. It's going to be a while, and everything you read, it's going to take, it's going to, 6 months lands us in the middle of the winter anyways, up,
Right.
In the northern part of the country. So if you're going to do anything, if things change in that time, then you're going down, south or, the southern part of the United States, or you're leaving the country.
Yeah.
Which isn't actually possible until those restrictions are lifted. So
Yeah.
we got to get creative, right?
Let me out.
Got to get creative. And talking about the drop in like music, I think consistency and just dropping like back to back like you're doing is the best thing you can do, and also I love like the podcast game right now. Like podcasting is killing. And I think you guys like all have like unique personalities and like you're good talkers and shit. I think you guys, and too, like with the Higher Minds brand, and I want to talk about that a little bit too, but I think it would be cool like for you guys to have a podcast. I think you guys could have like a sweet kind of like rapport just talking to each other. And that's a nice thing.
Shit.
Out once a week to your fans, and that just keeps people engaged like once a week, you know what I mean? And then
shit.
I have a podcast.
They didn't hear.
Shit.
You put a whole lot of ideas.
I've had Lou on my podcast.
I say, Fame got a really good podcast.
Yeah, and the podcast, the episode with Lou on it, you could just tell that like it was just actual conversation. It wasn't topics like really at all.
What you do a podcast?
Yeah. Yep.
How did I miss that?
We haven't put out an episode in like a month, just because both me and my roommate are on it, and we've been working so much like on our normal recording days.
For sure.
So actually we are recording this weekend. So like the first episode post quarantine will be coming out.
Yeah. Share that out with us, man.
So it's called Studio 212. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and on SoundCloud.
Nice.
But yeah, we just talk about, we both work nightlife. So we just kind of talk about that stuff and the funny shit we see on social media. And
nice.
Yeah, it's really just us talking shit. And we've had Lou and a couple of other people that we know on there and stuff like that. So
nice. That's
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, Louis Picasso in the gallery podcast would be fun. Nobody heard the banter that we had going on, that you guys specifically had going on before this started.
Before this started, yeah.
Oh man,
It was,
the
yeah. I mean, we
fuckery.
haven't seen each other since the show, so
Yeah, we really have
Long
it.
time,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's kind of amazing what you can get accomplished remotely like this. It's like a little weird at first. You kind of get used to it and you're like, well, we could do it sometimes. But it is way more fun being like in person. We've done a few
Yeah.
podcasts in the podcast studio. One of the things we're working on is putting a plexiglass barrier up in between the mics just to make
okay.
everybody feel a little bit
Yeah.
safer for the podcast room, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
got to do what you got to do.
Right.
Facts,
That'd
man.
be great,
Big
Facts.
facts.
True.
Yeah. But I would love to talk about like the Higher Minds brand and go into that a little bit. So can you kind of just explain what that's all about?
Yeah, no doubt. So Higher Minds, let me explain what Higher Minds is first, or at least like the meaning behind it. So the 3 eyes, shout out to Steve. I see that, man. Hey, you know what I mean? So
Got it tatted on me, bro.
you feel me? Like 3 eyes,
Sir.
So the 3 eyes in Higher Minds stands for like being an individual artist, or just being an individual, but yet coming together to create something dope. Like 3 eyes being the individual artist, but creating Higher Minds, the words itself. So with Higher Minds, we are a multimedia production company, and we help smaller businesses who need, like media such as like photography, videography, audio engineering, like event curating, PR, a DJ, a drummer, like pretty much anybody and everything. We kind of like do the middleman networking.
Hell yeah, that's dope. I like that. That's super sick. How long has that been going on for you guys? When did that like become an idea for you?
So Higher Minds came about actually, bro, at Hash Bash in like 2012 or 2013, I think, bro. To be real with you, I was like in the little field, and I was just like smoking. I think I was like tired of working or some shit, and I'm like, man, I know too many people. I have so many resources. I feel like I know how it is to be an artist and, just want to do your own shit, not have to work for somebody else. So what I wanted to do is, like, since I have so many so many resources with small businesses, and I know that they wanted to, basically upgrade their look and everything, and I knew the artist, so I would basically, middleman the small business and the artist, and like have them connect, and so the artist can get paid, and so they just building relationships. You know what I'm saying? So
That's key. I
Yeah.
think that's really key. And I'm glad that you're doing that work because I think there's a need there. Especially as Southeast Michigan can be kind of a tough market, right? We're
True.
not Nashville, or LA or New York or
Right.
Atlanta. I mean, it's a Rust Belt city, Rust Belt town. There's been a lot of challenges over the years, but doing that work is important. I think the relationships are really important. I mean, I've appreciated just working with you guys. You guys are always super pro, and I think that just says a lot about your brand too, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have any
sure.
future plans for the brand? Are there other things that you're working on now? I mean, obviously the whole landscape is currently changed, right? Like, but I mean, how is that affecting things? I mean,
No doubt. So yeah, we do actually have like a live streaming event, quote unquote, in the making right now with the band and a few other local artists. I can't really talk about it that much, but I do want to get everybody in on this idea, because I do feel like this will be one for the community for sure.
that's great, man. Yeah.
Whenever you can, or whenever you guys have the idea solidified, like let us know. We'll help promote like anything we can do to help.
Oh, for sure. For sure, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely get y'all on board with that for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be some. We'll talk, man. We'll talk.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. I appreciate offline.
Yeah, off the record.
Yeah. So going back, like just like popping back into the music kind of things. You know, like one of the things we'd like to ask artists whenever we get the opportunity is because we know people are watching that maybe they may not have accomplished some of the milestones that you guys have as doing some of these out of state shows and touring and setting all that stuff up.
Yeah.
But in terms of like just being both a hip hop artist in live music and everything else, do you have any advice for people that want to get to that level where they can do those things?
Hell yeah.
And that's for anybody in the band. But go ahead, you started out.
I'll get ready to say, I believe like we can all answer this low key. My advice honestly is just keep pushing. Like don't let nobody stop you. Not your boss, not your mom, not your dad, not anybody, your family, your elder, your siblings, you know what I mean? Like your neighbor, your landlord, like don't let seriously, bro.
I appreciate that though.
Corona, like seriously, don't let nobody or nothing stop you from what you're trying to do. Like keep pushing and keep networking also too. Like that's also very important. Shit is not just gonna drop in your hands because you dope. You actually gotta get your ass up and network, make that move. But keep pushing them no matter what. That's my advice.
Yeah.
I would add on to that, like, along with keep pushing, like, don't rush it. Because, the main thing, like, if you try to rush anything, like, it's not going to work out right, So just make sure that, once you get everything in place, just make sure that it's going to be in line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, that was just the only thing. Don't rush.
Plan.
I mean,
I like that. Don't rush, plan. That's good.
My thing is like take the small shows. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people won't do the small shows just because it's a small venue or like they feel like nobody's going to show up. I can't tell you how many of the tiny shows where you think like 5 people show up and we showed up and there's 200 people there.
Packed.
The networking is just insane. Packed. And I can't tell you how many gigs, like random DJ gigs that I've gotten off people that I met at shows just because they're like, oh yeah, I might need a DJ soon. Like hit me up. Like take the little shows. The little shows will soon turn into the bigger shows. A lot of people miss out on that. Like Ziggy's is kind of a small venue. A lot of people I know that have turned down Ziggy shows just because they're like, oh, it's too small. And I'm like, bro, we go there and it's packed like every time.
You ain't lying.
Yeah, it's a great event, a great venue. So I don't know why people sleep on small shows. So like, don't do that.
Shout out to Ziggy's, yo.
Yeah, shout out to them for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And some of this, I mean, to that point too, like, I don't know, the vibe at some of the smallest shows I've ever been to is like the best vibe,
Yeah.
It's a totally different vibe than a huge show with like, thousands of people, right? It's a different thing. But, and the other thing is I think people forget sometimes is that every artist started out playing small shows. You could seeing you guys at Ziggy's,
bro. Ziggy's
5 years from now, they could be like, "Yo, I saw those guys at Ziggy's in this little fucking town in Ipsy, in Michigan."
Before it was Ziggy's, it was Lampshade Cafe. No, it was Lampshade Cafe, and that's where the first Red Aura was at. The first Red Aura was at Lampshade Cafe, and I believe that was the first show that Steve played at.
Actually, it was. Yeah, it was.
And then it turned into Ziggy's.
Yeah. It's funny that building's been even before Lampshade. That I think that building was. I think it was called the Green Room.
Yeah, I believe
even before that, like many years ago. But it's something about that building. It always comes back as some kind of music venue.
Yeah, it has to, bro. Like Ziggy's got that shit. So like the acoustics, the sound in there is so tight and so dope. The whole environment. It's a good
vibe.
Hell yeah.
I know we all look forward to getting back in there. And hopefully these guys make it through some of these venues, man. They're having that's a hard time for a venue right now.
I need to charge my laptop. I'm full.
No doubt.
Get that charge, sir.
I'm fooling.
So anybody else want to throw in some advice? Anybody?
I mean, take every opportunity that you can get. Whether that is networking or playing the smaller shows. If you take every opportunity that you get, trust me, you're gonna greatly benefit from doing that. Like, that's like my main advice.
Yeah.
Opportunities are going to pop up, and you have to take them.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you sleep on an opportunity now, like you lose that, and then whatever comes from that, you just completely miss out on. You know, like you're just blocking the whole path, and it just doesn't work. It does not work out well in the end.
Yeah, it's almost like you got to be open to the possibilities. You got to be, you know, you got to let it in.
Right. Yeah.
Not be afraid to take chances at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Enjoy the process while it's happening too. Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because a lot of the time, you know, even just as people, not just as musicians, like we're working for like a future moment, and and learning how to enjoy the moment that you're actually in is, you know, one of the fucking hardest things to do in life, and something that most people are missing out on, you know, and that's something you guys are tapping in on stage. Like when you're just meditating and just present, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I like that. Learn how to enjoy the moment that you're in and enjoy the process, because the process is work. I mean, like,
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize how much work it goes into being an independent artist. You know, like everybody, they just see the money, they see, you know, people putting out albums and stuff like that, but they don't see the hundreds and hundreds of man hours that go into them. And the late nights mixed with the early days, and you know what I'm saying, like all that stuff. People don't see that, but like there are times
it's worth it though.
Yeah, you know, like I'd get off work at 2 a.m. and then Lou's like, cool, we got rehearsal in an hour. You know, I'm like, like, dude, I have to be at work at 9. Like, fuck, like, all right, cool, let's do it. You know, it's just it's something you got to do. It's hard, and at times you're gonna look at yourself and be like, okay, this shit isn't worth it. It's worth it.
It's hella worth it.
Don't let the tiredness lie to you.
Hell no.
I'm telling you that right now. Don't let it lie to you.
Yeah,
like, and tiredness is convincing. That's for sure. A lot of.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know, I know how hard you guys work, because it shows in your live show, it shows in the music the guys are making. It is tiring. It is a grind. I think the ultimate goal is to be able to do that right full time, where you don't necessarily have to put your energies towards other things. That's all the more difficult right now, of course, because of what's going on. But I feel really positive about, I think I've seen some people doing some really innovative stuff. And I'm just hopeful that people are going to continue to like explore those ideas. So, you know, a lot of things are super uncertain right now, right? In a lot of ways. And it's hard to plan. Like you guys said, you're like, yeah, we can't even plan for a tour right now. And I think you were like leaning towards this a little bit, but out of all the uncertainty, what do you guys each think is something that's most certain right now out of the uncertainty? This is the stumper of the evening, maybe, but you know.
Yeah.
So basically, what's the positive out of all of this negative?
Well, what is
you could take it that way? What's certain to you?
What is certain, do you guys think, in your opinion?
I know that this won't stop us completely. No matter how long it takes, you know, no matter what we got to do, we'll figure out a way to get back to shows. We've done it before, you know. There were definitely times where like people were unavailable, or like people just kind of weren't in the band anymore, and like we were super short on people, and we had no clue how we were going to do it, and in like 2 days we threw a whole band together type deal, you know. Like
we get through the shits.
Yeah, you know, I feel like this is of a higher magnitude than what we've been through, but I know that for certain, like there will be new music. I know that there's going to be new things between like Lou's independent music and more integrated with the band, and things like that. I think, you know, like a lot more stuff is coming, stuff that can't really dive super deep into details just because we're still kind of ironing things out. But there's going to be a lot more content than what people are used to seeing from us. You know, we don't post a whole lot. We don't do a whole lot of updates, but that's just because we're just spending so much time. We don't want to put out anything half-assed. So we just spend so much time trying to perfect everything that nothing ever really gets put out. But with all this extra time, we've had nothing to do but plan things. So there's going to be a lot more, you know, a huge marketing plethora of things is going to hit, you know, the timeline very soon. So
Yeah.
That's sweet. And I love the fact that you're wearing a shirt that says "Carry out my plan."
yeah.
While you're talking about that, I keep looking at your shirt.
gotta
and I'm
do
like,
it.
that is so perfect.
Yes.
yeah.
It's just
Yes,
like playing.
sir.
It's just like when
Carry
you guys,
out my plan.
Yeah.
you guys played in a gallery for the first time, right? Like that
Yeah.
was, there's
Yep.
there's some cosmic shit going on here, guys.
We have to.
What else?
Yeah.
What else is certain? Anybody else want to pipe in on that one?
Greatness is coming, man. You know,
Yeah.
doubt.
all we got right now is time. So we got time to prepare
Facts.
whatever we doing. You know, just know his greatness is coming.
Facts. I feel like everybody's starting to realize, like, yo, after being treated for the essential workers, like now that everybody have realized how the businesses or then the corps are treating their own people, you know, it's like, oh, okay, bet. Maybe I do need to do this shit on my own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like everybody now is on their own independent shit right now. And I love it. So it's so much that's what I was saying. Like it's some positivity coming out of this, yo. Like everybody's really starting to get on their shit now.
Yeah. I always tell everybody, like, COVID-19 turned everybody into a hustler.
For real.
Everybody started hustling super
A survivor
hard.
and a hustler,
Yeah,
seriously.
I've never
Survivor
hustled
and a
this hard in
hustler.
my life, and it's sad to say that it took this to do it, but I've never hustled this hard in my life. And I feel like us as a band as a whole have been just hustling super hard, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
when it comes to new material and ideas and things like that. I mean, our group chat is constantly popping all day with like, hey, maybe we should try this, or, yo, how would you guys feel about this type of event? You know, things like that. And it's just like, we never really maybe had the time or maybe the drive to do things like that before this. So it's just exciting to see the new things that are coming. Yeah.
I think that's a really good point. I think it has taken people in a direction that, you know, maybe they were thinking about before, but just didn't maybe have the energy yet. But I think it's shifted things for a lot of people. I appreciate that. Anybody else want to weigh in? Anybody? From the
all I've got.
gallery?
That's all I've got.
Good, man.
Yeah.
I think you guys are totally. I mean, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, that's the hustle has definitely gotten harder. I know even for us, it was when we had to shut the studio down. Well, what do you do? Well, we've been talking for the last year and a half about starting a podcast and doing exactly what we're doing right now.
Mhm.
And I really appreciate the fact that you guys took the time to, you know, come on and talk to us. And
Oh, we appreciate you having us.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
Appreciate
Yeah.
the exposure for sure, man.
Yeah.
that performance was incredible. And I want to,
Incredible.
if you're just joining the broadcast right now, go back and rewatch that performance. You will not be sorry.
I'm about to go
By the-
rewatch it.
Yeah,
After this.
By the
Right.
way,
Yo,
by the way,
you-
the
go ahead,
whole
Fang.
time,
Go ahead, Fang.
the performance was going, we were in the group chat going crazy. I was like, oh my,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's what we look like. Like, you know, I was like,
So we
oh
don't
my
get to see that shit a lot of the time. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
it's
So-
very few shows that we get recorded, you know. So
Yeah.
it was really
And
cool.
we're working on some other stuff too. We're working on some lighting things. So, you know, we can shift it farther into the evening and that kind of thing. But obviously there's a lot of different moving parts to it. And
yeah,
the numbers of how many people we can have present safely and all that keep changing, but we're going to keep pushing forward, and we got some other cool stuff coming up too, like you guys. And I know we're going to be talking about some stuff offline, but I really appreciate it. You know, on behalf of me and Max here and Grove Studios, man, you guys are
Thank you.
seriously some incredible artists. We love you guys. And, we're excited about what you guys are working on. So when new shit comes out, let us know. We'll be watching, and we'll be
You know.
Yo, seriously,
Yes.
hit me up like
Yeah.
before you're gonna drop that song, and like we'll blast it on social media and everything.
Hell yeah. Hell
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, most
Thank
much
you.
appreciated.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. We might even drop it on some like some Grove exclusive type shit. You feel me?
That would be
You
dope.
hear me?
We'll upload
Go,
like if you have a
baby.
video or something. We'll
Hey.
upload it. You know what I'm saying? So we'll
Yeah,
put it on our page.
no
Yeah.
doubt.
We'd love to. We'd love to help you guys in any way we can, and let's keep. I think this is the best thing to do. You know, like now more than ever, but always before. I've lived in this part of the state for a long time. I love this town. I love this county. I love the artists that are happening, and I just want to support you guys. We want to support you any way
Thank
we
you.
can, and
Thank you. We love
Thank
supporting you
yeah,
guys.
man,
No,
appreciate that
factual.
Your
very much.
facilities are life saving.
Facts.
Like I'm serious. Like there's so many times where it like like I'm preparing for a gig. I'm like, oh shit. Like I don't feel like setting up my shit. Like hey, I'm gonna be
y'all
at the DJ. I'll be at the
open?
DJ room today. Like I'll
24
see you
hours a
guys then.
day.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
gonna
Actually, we'll be
try
in
to
there
keep it
Friday.
simple.
Yeah, we'll be
Nice.
in there Friday. So
Friday.
cool.
Awesome. Awesome. Appreciate you guys, man. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Louis Picasso and the Gallery. You can check them out on all the social channels. You can look them up on Spotify. You guys are on SoundCloud too, right?
On everything.
All the things.
All streaming.
Louis
services.
All the
Picasso.
things.
Louis Picasso and the Gallery. Check it out. The studio recordings are primo, beautiful, and can't wait to see you guys live again, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, thank you.
Hey,
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Grove Sessions on Friday. We got the flight team showing up for an interview and a performance as well. So we'll see you guys then. Louis Picasso in the Gallery. Thanks, guys. Peace out.
See ya.
Peace.
Appreciate it.